They were our enemy. But I've been brought up different. I couldn't do it. So I left, went back over to Grand Mayor's after that experience. I said, no, that's all right. And when I got back to Grand Mayor, they said, hey, there's a German soldier out there in this building out here. He's out there, we don't know what he's doing in there. So when the youth era came back, he was a guy about 18 years old, and I was 21 years old, big smart guy. And so we started talking, let's go and look at this guy. So we went, and in Europe they have these doors that will open. The top part you can open, or the bottom part you can open. There's 2 sections to it. And so we sneaked up and we looked inside. It was pretty dark in there, and there were some bundles of grain and stuff lying around the floor. We couldn't see this guy, so we said, okay, we're going to open this door. Now, if he jumps up, let's get him, okay? So we went in, and we started looking around. We couldn't see the guy. But finally, we saw his feet kind of sticking out from under one of these bales. And so we said, we had another council, and said, okay, let's sneak over to him. And we got his pistol out. We took his pistol off of him. And then we said, okay, let's take this grain off of him. We took the grain off of him. He was a straggler. They were retreating at this time, and he was dead to the world. He didn't wake up. We would pull this thing off him. So we said, what shall we do? And he said, well, let's kick him. So we kicked him. And when he woke up, we had that pistol pointing right at him. See, he comes out of a dead sleep, and there's a guy with a pistol, right, pointing at his head. Well, the guy was scared to death. He began to cry. He showed us pictures of his family. And he says, I'm Czechoslovak anyway, and I was forced into the army. I don't want to be here. He says, I'm not doing anything. And I said, this was an old guy. He must have been 35 or 37 or something like that. And so, telling us the story, we believed everything he had to say. Is that Walker back there? Are you Walker? Okay, I thought you were a cousin of my wife's. So anyway, he did all this. See, and here we've got this pistol. Now we've got 2 choices. We've got ourselves a box. We've got to kill this guy, or we've got to let him go. So what did we do? We took the bullets out of the pistol, maybe put them in a kind of concealed pocket, gave him his pistol, and said, go now. We had already thought, now if he starts any smart things like trying to put those bullets back into anything before he gets off this property, we're going to have to kill him. Well, he walked on, and nobody came back. But Papa heard about this. And I think he only hit about twice between his farm and over here at Gunner's house, and boy, did he chew us out. Did he chew me out. Anyway, things get that way. Well, towards the end, we were getting all this bombing and everything. One day Papa came, we were sleeping out in the same barn where this guy had been, this German had been in there, and he said that the British are in the town of Mobile, and you can go if you want. And he says, but stay close by, because if you stay close by, we'll have a great big celebration. You'll go crazy. And I said, okay, that's great. So I went in, so he says, well, you can walk in, but you've got to go by yourself. So I had to walk through the German line. I don't know where they went down here. I was concerned about these here. There were some trees and things on that side. So I had to walk through there, right through their lines, and only in the little town of Mobile. So I did. I said a lot of prayers. I said a lot of prayers lots of times over there. And so I walked past them. I didn't get any closer than maybe 30 yards to any German soldiers. But I could see where they set up some machine guns, some places they'd set up their artillery. I didn't see any of the famous 88, but they might have had some around there. And I walked through and started walking in town. And 2 days before that, a Frenchman had just been shot out on the road for nothing, just for nothing. And so I could just feel those bullets tearing my back as I walked. But over there, people go to market. many times during the week, and they go in and buy their bread and stuff like that. And so I think the Germans do it in Germany, and they have seen a lot of that in France, and I think they just assume this is one of those poor farmers going into town to get something. And so I walked in. I walked into the town, I turned to go down the street here, and I noticed that they had yellow quilts on the top of the roof. And that was a sign that the town was free of the enemy. And this little spotter plane that I'd seen cruise over there before me, I'd seen something like that later on. And then as I walked into town, I could see these signs alongside the road that says, "Attention," attention, just straight attention, with an arrow pointing to where the mines had been laid by the Germans. So there was a lot of safety there. And then down here was kind of a gathering place, so I ran down there and I could see these half tracks down there, or small. Well, they had a full track, but they were small vehicles. They were bringing gun carriers, and I started to run toward them, and they swung their guns on me. It made me stay back until a member of the underground identified me. And then they said, okay, if you're an American, get aboard right now. We're pulling out because they're going to be shelling this place any time because they know we're here. And so I jumped aboard, and we started out along the road. I kept thinking about what the pilot says. He says, "Now, don't go very far and stick around. We're going to have a real bang here." Well, the further I went, the more I knew I had to go on. My wife had a brother missing. She had a husband missing. So my first priority was to my wife and to my mother, and I had to get back where I could get word to them that I was okay. So these guys turned me over to a British major. He turned me over to a Canadian hospital unit. I did that one night with them. The next day they took me over and turned me over to an American P-47 unit of squadron. I was so happy. And it was a 264. Did any of you see the fighter pilot story that recently on? Okay, the guy, the principal character in that, we traded back routes together. We went over the same ship. We separated over there. What else did we have in common? This was his unit. And when I got there, some of the guys I trained with in cadets and along the way, most of their names begin with an M. One of the guys told me that they were really in bad shape. They would fly out from their base, and in 10 or 15 minutes they were over enemy lines. And then they'd come back and fly on a mission. So sometimes they'd fly as many as 5 missions in a day. And he said they all had the GIs, and they were having a messed up time in their aircraft, that sort of thing. Severe diarrhea. Is that what we call it? Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, anyways, these guys kept me a night, and they put me on a little old C-45. You'll see the little twin-engine plane out here. They flew me back into England. I had to borrow enough money to catch a train from there to go back up to my unit up near Cambridge. And I got back there, and I finally got out to my unit. And I was wearing these clothes that you see right here, still in those. I lost my beret, and I don't know what happened to that. Anyhow, I got a unit now. And went up to my room, and I could hear some wrestling and fighting going on in the room. 3 guys in the room. One guy had taken my place, so I opened the door and stepped inside. And there was a moment of hesitation, like nothing. And these guys just... Leho had been on that mission with me, and I had called him and said, "So long, Leho, I'll see you later." He was there. McGuire, half Indian, he was there, and boy, how his bedroom broke loose, and we had a real celebration. But I had to go into a medical unit to get rid of the scabies. That comes from being dirty. And I think, had only one bath, and the 2 months I was there, they didn't have the soap to begin with, and lots of other problems. And then I went down to a unit down by London, General Greenwood showed up. We were both lieutenants then. And we had trained together as cadets. We had gone overseas together, but had separated. And he had been shot down. He bellied his P-47 in, and he was shot through here, and it came out of his back. He'd been hit pretty hard. He almost landed in a doctor's yard, so he was taken care of pretty well. I've already run over time, I'm already 10 minutes over time, so I would like to show you just a few little slides real quick. There won't be much talk about it. How are we going to do that? Too long? Okay. Let's see. We'll put a little juice there. Okay. Oh, the best story of all. I went back in 1954. I went back maybe 15 times. I was stationed in Germany for 3 years. My family got to go with me. My mother was with us over there, so she got to go. And we had sent packages to the French after we got out, and they had sent my ring and a few other things back to me in the States by an American officer. I kept asking when I was there, I said, where's the parachute? And well, I had a car, so we went around to see everybody. Some people I didn't even know. And they said, wait a while. I finally got to a house, and they said, hey, look, come upstairs with us. So I went upstairs, and they had this pretty white dress laying out on the bed. And it had been made for Lucien's first communion. And then it had been passed around from family to family. Some little girl was having her first communion, and that's why it was there. It was, now you remember back in those days, we didn't know what nylon was, did we? We didn't know. These things were made out of silk. They were made out of silk. But it wasn't easy to sew with that sort of thing. It was real difficult. My wife backed that up. Okay. All right. So I go back. I'm the best man. I'm the oldest brother. I'm the oldest brother in the family. So I get to sign the register inside this chapel. And a lot of people were saying, Protestant, you could hear this word Protestant. They'd have known I was a Mormon the whole building when it comes out. Anyway, and this is the little town of Oldville. Really great. These are the women preparing for the meal that we had at the wedding. It was a 3-day bash. And what a bash. I was not in shape for it. I'm afraid I'm in the way here. These old gals was preparing for that. This old gal here, you know, we had a lot of cognac and a lot of calvados, a lot of this, that, the other, already there. She got snockered on this by the time we got back. Anyway, they're preparing this, getting ready to prepare food. Lucien again, and my little green granddaughter, Josiane. And her was Michelle, Lucien, and Josiane. Now these are the women when they were, I think this woman here is trying to hold her up because she was really, anyway, they look pretty nice, and we had 3 days of this stuff. Okay, this is a dinghy with a little sail, and you know you can cover yourself up pretty well. This was on the bottom of my parachute. There are my 2 boys, the oldest boy, the guy who's test pilot for the 117, and this guy right here is the guy with the whiskers, with the mustache on, over here, sitting over here against the wall. Papa, see those big wagons they had in those days? Big wheel, 2-wheel job. Now these pictures are taken 10 years after my little journey over there. This is another young one. Papa, Mama, the guy with the mustache over there. Hey, is that, do you think that's focused? Let's see, let me. That's better, huh? Okay. Lucien, her husband, Bernard, Mama, myself. I think that's Michelle's mother, probably. And one that's waiting to get at that booze again. And this is the thing you normally see. And boy, do we love the French bread. We really did. And you see these women. They'll take up a piece of bread, throw it up against their chest, and they go zip like that. And you think, well, they're going to cut everything off. And that really concerned me. This is George's place where they took us. This is where Hola was. This is where I spent a lot of time out there with Mickey the goat. And this is George after the war. He's home free. A couple of his sons and his wife. She made me a pair of shorts while I was there. This is the corner where those ferns were growing. They've cut down a lot of stuff and it's kind of junked up. But you can see how clean the forest is out through there. You can really see through the doggone thing. This is the lady that almost got hit by my plane. It crashed in her yard. This is Maurice. Both of these were passed on now. Papa's gone, Mama's gone. Maurice was the other guy. He was a butcher. And Papa's son, Bernard, worked for him. And Bernard was the courier. He used to carry the messages in the handlebar of the bicycle. And this is Grandmère, and her son, who had been a prisoner but came back. Now, if you notice these clothes, I've got a blue jacket on like that. That's the thing that you see in Normandy, that part of Normandy, and almost all the people. This is the Grandmère's place. This is the gate where the guy kicked it back into my face. And I slept upstairs over in that corner room. Some, not very much. And Papa and Mama came to Germany and spent a few days with us up there. We really love that bread. We really love that bread. No, what a family. But don't turn loose that bread. And then these are some of the lanes in the country. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I ran over time there on you. And,
I have one question. How long were you there?
well, it seemed like a long time, but I was only there a couple months.
Only a couple months.
Yeah, but it was a busy place. They were just rushing reinforcements one way or retreating the other direction.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's been a very enjoyable afternoon. I have a little token for our appreciation here for you.
Oh, gee.
Something you remember us by. We appreciate you coming and spending your time.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, our speaker will be discussing the XC-99, which was a huge pusher propeller aircraft that was developed off from the prototype of the B-36. And so we invite you to come back next week and spend the afternoon with us. Thank you very much.
I thought he was talking to you when he was talking.
Oh, yes, he was talking to me.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He says, oh, yeah.
Okay, they're down there, so I'll never see it. I haven't heard from him since Christmas.
Okay, you guys.
Nate, how do you shut this crazy thing off?
Don't have my glasses and I wouldn't know.
Well, that has helped me. I haven't got my glasses.
Well, there's a red one there.
I pressed it, but it didn't.
Pull the